welcome back to Easy Cooking with Linda B. Today I am going to show you how my Babcia made her beet soup. Here's a picture of my Babcia, my mom, and my dad. And I'm going to show you how she put it all together. It's a very simple and delicious recipe. So my Babcia had to be very creative with cooking meals because there were 9 people in the family, 7 children. And one of their favorite dishes were beet soup. So what she did was she took pork, and I have a center cut pork right here, but you can use any type of pork you want. And this is going to be the base of the broth. Also, my shortcut here is canned beets because I can't really find the good beetroots right now at this season. So what I did with these was I reserved the juice, which you see in this container, and I took the beets and I drizzled oil, salt, and pepper, and I roasted them in the oven at 350 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes. I did that purposely to bring out the earthy flavor of the beets because they're very sweet. Also, one other thing that you'll need at the end, because beets are sweet, you want to tone it down with a little bit of vinegar. In here, I have white vinegar. Also, you can top your soup off with sour cream, that's optional. And then a little seasoning, salt and pepper. All right, so in this pot, I have my broth. This has been simmering for about an hour, a little more, very low simmer. And this is the pork that I used. So what I'm going to do at this point is I want to remove my pork. And to season this, all I did was put salt and pepper, a little bit of garlic powder and onion powder. And like I said, just let it simmer. So now what I will do is bring the temperature up on the soup, because now the next thing I have to do is prepare my beets. And I'll show you how I do that. So while my broth is at a low simmer right now, I am going to use my salad shooter. I don't know how many of you remember these, but it's easy for me. And the beets are so small, I could get it done in one shot. But if you don't have a salad shooter, you could use your food processor or a box grater. But as you can see, these are so small. If I use a box grater, I'll probably lose, you know what else, gloves, fingertips, whatever. Anyway, sorry, not to gross out. So this is simple. I have my Pyrex here to catch my beets, and I'm going to place a few of them in here actually, and it'll push them out in nice little shreds, which is what I'm looking for. And I'll turn down the volume so you don't have to suffer through this part. Okay. So I got my little plunger deal here, and now here we go. So as you can see, they've come out in nice little shreds. This is perfect for the soup. So I'm going to continue until I finish shredding all my beets, and I'll show you what we do next, okay? Okay, after shredding the beets, you can see it made about 3 cups, close to 3 cups. This was 2 small cans of beets. Now it's only for Bob and I, so I'm making a small batch. So as you can see, my broth is still hot. I will turn it back up a little bit more. I didn't want the broth to boil out. And I would say probably have about 3 cups, almost 4 cups of broth in here. That's all the richness from the pork. So now what I will do is I'm going to take my reserved beet juice from the can and add it to my soup. This is going to give it that beautiful red color and also add flavor to it. And then I will add now my beets. And when the temperature of the soup gets hot, I'm just going to let it simmer for a while because I want to extract more flavor from the shredded beets as it cooks. Okay, and then I'll show you what I do with the pork. I also want to add that if you, for religious reasons, or you just don't like pork, you can absolutely use chicken broth, beef broth, or even vegetable stock, whatever you prefer. So now I'm going to show you what to do with the pork. Now, of course, back in the day, which is what I try to follow, excuse me, is that we don't waste anything. My grandmother used everything up. There is no waste. So I'm just going to cut these in thin slices. I'm probably not going to use all of this because the soup is a small batch, but we'll do something with the remainder pork. And then what you could kind of do is just shred it apart like that. Okay, so the soup has now been simmering for about 10-15 minutes, and the beets are getting soft inside. In the meantime, I have thrown in the pork that I had cut up, and at this point, I want to add a little more seasoning. I'm going to put in a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, stir that in. And then it's important that you taste it, because now at this point, you're going to want to add your vinegar. You don't have to if you don't want to, but traditionally we always did because of the sweetness, it'll cut it down. So what I'm going to do now is take a taste. Oh, it's so good. And now I'm going to take just a small amount of vinegar. If you put too much, you'll kill the flavor. You don't want to do that. So I'm going to start out with a little drizzle in there. Oh, I can smell the vinegar. It's not overpowering. It's not super strong. Okay, I just want to grab an, oh no, I have another spoon. I always remember to have clean spoons. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more vinegar, not too much. If I add too much more, I'm not going to like it. Neither will Bob. And there it is. So what I will do now is I'll plate it up and I'll show you what it all looks like composed. Okay, now I will plate up my soup. I can see the chunks of the pork in there and the redness from the beet. This is so good. It's such an easy and very delicious soup. So I'm going to plate up a small amount, clean off my bowl. Now to finish this off, what you can do, this is optional as I said before, you could take a dollop of sour cream and put it right in the center. And some people like to stir it right in their soup. I prefer not to, but it's all individual taste. Okay, so now we're going to taste this. I'm going to reach in here and get this broth. Oh, It is so good. The beets itself are tender. They're not bleached out. They still have redness to them. They still have that flavor. They're absolutely delicious. Gotta try this. This is my Babcia's beet soup. I hope you enjoyed watching me make my Babcia's beet soup. I want to thank you very much for taking the time to watch my videos. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. It will help for my channel to grow. It's also important if you like and share, that helps get my name out there. And remember, enjoy life and never stop learning. Bye now.